not trying, but still caring, is like, you know what I mean? It's a bit of a contradiction. So, I'm not caring, so you do try. Yeah, you take away the element of caring whether you're cool. Yeah, but no, there's like the definition that just read out before. It's like a very damaging definition. Yeah. But it's almost like we need to take it back as a figure of speech. Particularly and stuff like it's not cool to be political these days. Like it's not cool. So you don't like want to like shout out your opinion. I think it's culturally based. Like I think some cultures obviously have different politics and then other cultures, and it's different times as well. I think it's lined up with leisure and time. It's never one thing. There's always an action. And something is invented, like an interesting art form or an innovation is invented, and then for a couple of years no one knows about it, like the people who invented it. And then it gets discovered by the mainstream, it gets made cool, and almost like re-transformed without the original meaning. And I just think just because something becomes mainstream that it's cool in a damaging way. I just think as soon as people stop thinking about it all, don't question what I think we actually let them. I think we need to let coolness become mainstream instead of elite. And it does, and it always like sort of overlaps. And I think it's like a history or something, but like cool. About what people think.
It's cool to be joking slower than you're welcome to.
Yeah, it's not cool because like it still allows black things that millions of other people like. Exactly. And why not as well? Why can't something that's good gain momentum and gain support in a mass recognition? Something that I think is a huge thing is like the fact that artists need to make money in order to like make like when they're making art. Yeah, exactly. It becomes a commodity, and so they might like make their art in order to be cool, and so people buy it. They make their art less particularly like relative. Like saying that it becomes a market, almost they're tapping into different. Sure. Yeah. But I mean, I guess it works across all levels, not just like the mainstream, but even something like trying to fit into a niche. You can one name like all of the artists is to challenge like the genre definitions or whatever, like in whatever medium you're working. Basically, it's inbuilt, isn't it? It should be inbuilt into the form. Why in universities are the art Department of Political Studies so separate? Yeah. You know, and I thought that was especially in Australia. And I thought that was so interesting because I mean, at least in the 60s and 70s, there was such a swell of artistic, new innovations in art, but also in politics. And they seem to cross over. Now they're loathsome against any kind of collaboration, definitely. And you see that with there's a odd exhibition in our institutions that you find stimulating, but it's mostly separate.
Get along with anyone at any time. I don't have to feel like in one particular group or get labelled as one particular subculture. Whether
why do you think that's cool? Is it just personality wise, or is it just good in between?
It's something that you develop over time, and it's a humility for yourself and for other people.
Like now, so we've got all these leftover movements that kind of some people still follow, and some people like just don't know about them or whatever. And they're kind of the tools that we have now. Yeah, exactly. And so everything that we do is kind of like a reference to anything. And it's more than postmodern because it's not just about kind of representing reality and being it's actually saying I want to be who this and my message. There has to be some message. So what are your thoughts on apathy and how it affects your environment?
Apathy. Well, apathy, I mean, it's like kind of like degradation. Neglect, not feeling connected. And it doesn't, and I don't really let it affect me because I just don't like feeling. I guess I think I'm forgetting when I'm isolated and disconnected, but it's the things I do myself.
Yeah, I feel like on the one hand, my apathy is really paralyzing, and it can really prevent me from getting anything done in life.
Yep.
But on the other hand, it also acts as like a protective barrier to situations where I can't emotionally respond. It would be detrimental to what I'm doing to let emotions get the better of me.
Yeah, sure.
So, every definition in any language has those binaries. And something that's really important about these critical runs and debating critically in any sense is that you are trying to engage your mind human beings function individually and collectively, how we can all bounce on one another to really get to the core of something and understanding. And I think we've really dragged out our existence on this planet to a point where we don't really, you know, it's becoming quite boring and tedious to be here. And we have all the warning signs, we have all the technology, we have all the ideas, and why aren't we implementing them?
So, I mean, like you look at the Romans before they fell, like all the Roman Empire, right? I mean, would the Roman leaders consider themselves to be cool, right? Yeah. As a civilization, would they consider themselves better than the civilization?
Yeah, but does coolness have an inherent drive to dominate and to hoard power, like with those kind of total systems? What's so interesting about the artistic framework is that we can call for larger systematic change.
As opposed to, you're right, like hoarding. That's really good word.
Yeah, information is really cool, you know, and not just the information that you get from your exterior world, but the information that comes to your mind, that should be free to be accessed by other people. What do you think?
I think it's kind of like to be progressive, discovering something different that challenges and interests people that think that it's cool. And it really is, like artists challenge people, they move out of comfortable and they're cool in that way. But when they become apathetic, I think they lose their coolness.
Well, do you think that, I mean, fashion is recycled for monetary gain?
Yeah.
But also I suppose people do get sort of, do you think people get bored more quick of it now than they used to?
Yeah, I think, well, I suppose so. Once you get used to something, you just want to change, I suppose. Like with people, it's in our nature. Do we want something different?
Do we want to be better or do we want to be questioned?
Maybe that's what it is.
Isn't that the nature of cool, is it so often walks that knife edge of being totally socially excluded and also at the same time being something that people latch onto?
And different people think different things are cool, and I think when you're affirmed sometimes, or I don't know, some people take a risk and people think it's cool, some people think it's horrible. There's something new or inventive or different. Yeah. And I think any other definition is just another definition, but I don't think you can say cool is one thing, art is views or other politics. And it's kind of just like, you know, it feels like it's viewed as like secondary to other sorts of like movements or like political movements. But like art is what we use to criticize ourselves and each other and the way we live. And like if it's not supported, then it's just like, then we sort of die as people. Well, I just don't think that Tony Blair and George Bush go to the MCA and construct their foreign policy from there. I've always thought about that. I've always thought, when you declare war in a country, you have an appreciation for culture and art. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I know politics is really real.
I think mystery is cool as well. Legacy. Maybe that's why things get so exclusive, because it's sort of exciting to be in on something before everybody else knows about it. And that's sad. It sounds sad. It sounds like you're excluding people. I don't have an excuse for it.
I think I'm just trying to think of the context of cool and emergency, you know, and I suppose it's the apathy of you know, being cool in inverted commas that restricts people from thinking about their own lives and the context of which they're living in, as in crisis. And I just think there's an interesting dualism there between, you know, something that, say for example, like emergency room. I mean, what would happen if emergency room got cool? What happened if everyone started getting onto it? Would that dilute the message, or would that just make it even stronger? Would apathy creep into something like that, or would it be, if art is protest?
Emergency room is pretty safe because the aim of the game isn't to be cool. And I think that's what saves it from worrying about being cool or uncool. Like, if you're trying to get a message across and you're indifferent to how people evaluate you on a cool scale,